Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you isn't decoration. It's not feel-good fluff. It's a real, brutal, unapologetic truth about transformation. Most people live their entire lives trapped in weakness, begging for change but terrified of effort. But today, I'm giving you a story that destroys excuses and exposes a simple reality. Weakness is a choice, and so is power. There was a man, broken, invisible, the kind of guy no one notices. Life hit him hard. Bills, failures, rejection, disrespect. He took every punch and fell every time. And he stayed down because he believed weakness was permanent. That's where most of you live. Not in pain, not in defeat, but in belief. A belief that weakness is who you are, and that's the biggest lie you've ever swallowed. One day, after another failure, he looked in the mirror and saw a man he didn't respect. And that moment didn't break him. It woke him up. He realized something powerful. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to carry you. You either build yourself or you stay broken. That was the moment he rejected weakness, not because the world changed, but because he started with discipline, the foundation of every success story. Waking up early, training when he didn't want to, cutting out every distraction, eliminating the wrong people, controlling his mind, mastering his emotions. And here's the discipline is violent. It destroys comfort. It kills excuses. It forces you to become someone stronger than your past. Every single day, he pushed himself into discomfort until discomfort became normal and then became fuel. He understood that transformation isn't about motivation. It's about pressure. You apply enough pressure to coal and you get a diamond. You apply enough pressure to a weak man, and if he chooses the pain instead of escape, he becomes unstoppable. He became sharper, tougher, more confident. He didn't wait for opportunity. He built himself into the kind of man opportunities chase, and people started noticing. Not because he wanted validation, but because real strength radiates. Weakness begs, power commands. He became the man he once envied, not because he was lucky, but because he refused to remain the man he hated. His story isn't unique. It's not a miracle. It's not reserved for special people. It's proof. Proof that weakness is a starting point, not a sentence. Proof that power is earned, not gifted. Proof that anyone, including you, can transform if you choose to suffer for your future instead of surrendering to your past. Now listen, if you're tired of losing, if you're sick of being ignored, if you're done watching others live the life you want, then today is your moment. Right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. You either decide to rise or you decide to stay exactly where you are. Power isn't waiting for you. Power is built by you. Weakness is a choice. Power is a decision. And the moment you understand this truth, your life stops being a series of accidents and starts becoming a series of decisions. Most people wake up every day acting like their circumstances control them, like their environment shapes them, like the world owes them something. But nothing controls you more than your own acceptance of weakness. Weakness isn't a physical limitation. It starts as a mental surrender. The second you say, "This is just who I am," you sign a silent contract with failure. And the world loves that because weak people are easy to predict, easy to manipulate, and easy to ignore. Power, on the other hand, isn't handed to anyone. It isn't a gift. It's forged. It's built through decisions you make when no one is watching. In moments where quitting looks easier, where excuses feel comfortable, and where weakness tries to negotiate with you. Power starts the moment you stop giving weakness a voice, the moment you stop allowing comfort to speak louder than your ambition. And every time you choose discipline over excuses, you're choosing power. Every time you do the hard thing when your mind begs you to stop, you're choosing power. Power is not a personality trait. It's a repeated decision to rise when the world gives you every reason to fall. Weakness thrives on delay. It convinces you that tomorrow is an option, that later will save you, but later is the birthplace of regret. Every dream buried in the graveyard of wasted potential began with a weak moment disguised as a harmless delay. When you understand that every second you hesitate, weakness wins, you start to treat your life with urgency. You stop waiting for the perfect moment because you realize the perfect moment is the one you decide to act in. Weakness wants you slow, uncertain, emotional. Power demands you fast, focused, intentional. Imagine the version of you that actually reaches your goals, stronger, sharper, more disciplined, respected, unstoppable. That person isn't born. That person is chosen. And here's the You choose them every day by refusing to stay the same. The world doesn't reward who you are right now. It rewards who you have the courage to become. Weakness will always try to convince you that the gap between where you are and where you want to be is too big. Power tells you to take the first step and make the gap smaller. Power doesn't require perfection. It requires movement. The truth is, weakness feels safe because it demands nothing from you. No effort, no sacrifice, no discipline. But safety is the enemy of growth. You can't transform in comfort. You can't rise while hiding. You can't build a powerful life while staying the same weak version of yourself. The uncomfortable reality is that your old habits, old fears, old excuses, they all must die for the powerful version of you to live. Every time you feed weakness with indecision, you starve your future. Every time you choose effort over emotion, you starve weakness. And that is where transformation begins. Power is built in the smallest decisions. When you wake up early instead of hitting snooze, when you train even when your body resists, when you stay disciplined while everyone else is distracted, when you step into challenges instead of running from them. These moments don't feel grand, but they accumulate, they stack. They compound into a version of you that is unrecognizable from the man who once accepted weakness as his identity. And here's the one strong decision can rewrite your entire life trajectory, but only if you commit to it again and again until power becomes your default state. Weakness is always available. It's free, it's easy, it's comfortable. Power is expensive. It costs discipline, sacrifice, consistency, and the willingness to confront the parts of yourself you don't like. Not everyone will choose power, but the few who do become the leaders, the winners, the people the world admires. You choose your side every day. And the moment you decide weakness is no longer acceptable, your life begins to change in ways you never imagined. No one is coming to save you. And the sooner you let that truth hit you with its full force, the sooner your life stops being a waiting room and becomes a battlefield you're finally ready to win. Most people walk through life with this quiet expectation that someone will show up. A mentor, friend, a miracle, a moment of luck, something or someone that will pull them out of their chaos. But here's the waiting is the most dangerous form of self-sabotage. Every second you spend hoping for rescue is a second where your life gets smaller, weaker, more controlled by circumstances you pretend you can't change. When you truly understand that nobody is coming to fix your problems, you reclaim power instantly. The idea sounds harsh, but it's liberating. Because as long as you believe someone else will save you, you'll never take full responsibility for your own transformation. And the uncomfortable truth is this: the world doesn't owe you a rescue mission. The world doesn't care about your excuses, your struggles, your fears. The world responds only to outcomes, and outcomes are built by people who take full ownership of their lives. People who stop waiting and start acting. You must realize that relying on others leaves you weak. Relying on yourself makes you unstoppable. And here's the strongest people you admire didn't become powerful because someone lifted them. They became powerful because no one did. They were forced to become the hero of their own story. The moment you stop expecting help is the moment you start building the mindset that can conquer anything. When you remove the safety net, you give yourself no choice but to climb. Life will hit you with problems that feel unfair, unexpected, overwhelming. But these problems aren't designed to break you. They're designed to expose the part of you that refuses to grow. When you realize no one is coming to push you, support you, or remind you, you learn to push yourself harder than anyone else ever could. You learn to become your own motivation, your own force, your own accountability. And here's the discipline you build when you rely only on yourself becomes a weapon nobody can take from you. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they outsource responsibility. They let their emotions dictate their actions. They let their circumstances define their limits. They let the world convince them they can't rise without assistance. But greatness demands self-control. It demands ownership. It demands that you stop blaming, stop waiting, stop hoping, and start building. No excuses, no rescue missions, no shortcuts. Think about the life you want, the success, the respect, the confidence, the freedom. No one is going to hand it to you. And if someone could give it to you, it wouldn't be worth anything anyway, because anything easily given is easily lost. The life you dream of must be earned through effort that nobody sees, sacrifices nobody understands, and decisions nobody applauds. That is the price of personal power. When you finally accept that you are alone in the construction of your destiny, you stop negotiating with your weakness. You stop giving yourself permission to fail quietly. You stop looking for someone to validate your struggle. Instead, you build resilience. You build grit. You build the identity of someone who doesn't break, someone who doesn't fold, someone who doesn't wait. And that identity becomes your greatest advantage. Every morning you wake up, you have two choices: remain the version of you that hopes someone will fix your life, or become the version that does it yourself. One leads to regret, the other leads to greatness. And the truth is, you were never meant to be saved. You were meant to become powerful enough that you don't need saving at all. Discipline is the weapon that builds strength. And once you understand this, your entire relationship with success, effort, and personal power changes forever. Most people wait for motivation, as if motivation is some magical fuel that will suddenly appear and carry them to greatness. But here's the motivation is unreliable. It disappears when life gets hard, when you're tired, when you're stressed, when everything feels heavy. Discipline, on the other hand, remains. Discipline shows up when excuses scream the loudest. Discipline is the force that makes you act even when every fiber of your body is begging you to stop. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not loud or impressive. It's quiet, consistent, and brutally demanding. It requires you to do things you don't want to do. At times you don't want to do them with standards that don't bend to your emotions. And that's exactly why it builds strength. Weak people let their feelings dictate their actions. Strong people let their standards dictate their actions. And here's every time you choose discipline over comfort, you rewrite your identity into someone unstoppable. You become the person who does what needs to be done, not what feels good to do. If you think discipline is optional, look at anyone who has achieved anything meaningful. Their success isn't magic. It's not luck. It's not some hidden talent. It's discipline. The daily commitment to show up, to improve, to push past their limits. Discipline is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter where you come from, who doubted you, or how many times you failed. If you master discipline, you can outrun anyone who relies on talent alone. Talent might make you interesting. Discipline makes you dangerous. Discipline also teaches you something most people never learn: the value of doing hard things. When you force yourself to work when you're tired, when you train when you're unmotivated, when you study when you'd rather relax, you're building a mind that refuses to surrender. And here's the mind you build in discipline becomes your ultimate advantage in every challenge life throws at you. Weak minds collapse under pressure. Disciplined minds rise through it. The world is full of people seeking comfort, avoiding effort, and running from struggle. But discipline thrives in struggle. It grows in discomfort. It becomes stronger every time you push yourself beyond what you thought was possible. Discipline doesn't just build a strong body or a strong routine, it builds a strong self-image. When you keep promises to yourself, you earn trust with yourself. And that self-trust becomes confidence, real confidence, the kind that doesn't crumble when life gets tough. Every time you choose discipline, you replanting seeds for a future version of you that is powerful, respected, and capable. Most people want that future, but aren't willing to water those seeds daily. They quit after a week, after a setback, after a bad day. But disciplined people understand something crucial: consistency is more important than intensity. A small disciplined action repeated daily will beat a massive burst of effort done once in a while. And here's the person who moves an inch every day will always beat the person who sprints once and stops. Discipline also protects you from your own weaknesses. It keeps you aligned when distractions appear. It keeps you focused when emotions fluctuate. It keeps you grounded when life tries to shake you. Without discipline, you become a slave to your impulses. With discipline, you become the master of your reality. And mastery is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary forces. If you want strength, you must first want discipline. You must desire structure more than comfort, progress more than pleasure, growth more than ease. Every successful person you admire was built, refined, and elevated by discipline. They didn't rise because life was easy. They rose because they chose the harder path every day. They chose the path that demanded more from them. And here's the harder path is the path that builds greatness. Discipline isn't a tool. It's the foundation of every powerful life. Pressure creates greatness, and the moment you stop fearing pressure and start embracing it, your entire identity begins to shift. Most people run from pressure because they think it's a sign that life is working against them. They think pressure means they're failing, that something is wrong, that they're not capable enough. But here's the pressure is not a threat. Pressure is a mirror. It reveals the truth about who you are, what you're avoiding, and what you still need to become. Pressure doesn't break strong people. It exposes weak habits, weak beliefs, and weak standards. And if you're willing to face those weaknesses instead of hiding from them, pressure becomes the greatest teacher you'll ever have. Look at anything powerful in this world. Diamonds, steel, elite athletes, world-class leaders, they were all shaped under pressure. They didn't become great in comfort. They didn't grow in softness. They were refined in environments that demanded more from them than they were ready to give. And that's the greatness requires pressure, because pressure forces evolution. If life is too easy, you stay the same. If life is too comfortable, you stop growing. If life never challenges you, you never discover what you're truly capable of. Pressure isn't the enemy, it's the catalyst. When pressure hits you, deadlines, failures, responsibilities, expectations, you have two choices: collapse under it or rise through it. Weak people collapse because they want life to be gentle. They want the reward without the sacrifice, the glory without the grind, the success without the scars. Strong people rise because they understand something deeper. Pressure is an invitation to level up, to shed the old version of yourself, to build a mind and body that can handle the weight of your future. And here's the life you want is heavier than the life you have now. If you can't handle pressure, you can't handle greatness. Pressure exposes your limits, but it also expands them. When you push yourself through difficult situations, your capacity increases. You become stronger mentally, emotionally, physically. You learn to stay calm in chaos, focused in distraction, determined in uncertainty. You build resilience, the kind of resilience that makes problems feel smaller because you've become bigger. And that's the beautiful paradox. Pressure feels heavy at first, but the more you face it, the more it builds the strength that makes it feel lighter. Most people avoid pressure by choosing easy paths. They avoid big goals, avoid responsibility, avoid anything that could test them. But avoiding pressure is the fastest route to mediocrity. When you choose the easy route, you stay soft, you stay fragile, you stay unprepared for the challenges that will eventually find you anyway. Running from pressure doesn't protect you, it weakens you. And here's the pain of pressure today saves you from the destruction of weakness tomorrow. A powerful mindset is forged when you stop asking for an easy life and start demanding a stronger version of yourself. When you welcome pressure instead of resisting it, you stop being a victim of life and start being a player in it. Every time you face pressure head on, you take control, you take ownership, you take responsibility for becoming someone who can handle more, achieve more, and command more from the world. You stop fearing difficulty because you realize difficulty is the training ground for champions. Pressure also reveals your priorities. It shows you what matters. It strips away distractions and forces you to confront your true goals. When life gets heavy, the unimportant things fall away and you see clearly what you're truly chasing. And here's the clarity is born in discomfort, not in ease. The moments you feel overwhelmed are the moments that define your direction, your character, and your future. If you want to build a life of strength, respect, and unstoppable momentum, you must treat pressure not as an enemy, but as a sculptor. It shapes you, it sharpens you, it prepares you for the success that you claim you want. Every time you stand tall under pressure, you become more powerful than you were yesterday. And that power becomes the foundation on which greatness is built. Becoming strong requires cutting what weakens you. And once you understand this, your entire life becomes cleaner, sharper, more focused. Most people are not destroyed by their enemies. They're destroyed by their environment, by the people they tolerate, by the habits they repeat, and by the excuses they allow. And you cannot build a powerful life while holding on to the things that make you powerless. Strength isn't just about what you add, it's about what you remove. You remove the distractions, the toxicity, the laziness, the comfort, and you create space for the strongest version of yourself to rise. Weakness hides in many forms. It hides in procrastination, in unhealthy relationships, in self-doubt, in wasting hours scrolling through meaningless content. It hides in the people who pretend to support you but secretly hold you back. It hides in the habits that drain you and the mindset that excuses them. And here's you can't transform while protecting the things that are destroying you. The truth is harsh but simple. If it weakens you, it has no place in your life, period. There comes a moment where you must look at your life like an architect. You examine every structure, your routine, your social circle, your mindset, your behaviors, and ask a simple question: does this make me stronger or weaker? Everything that makes you weaker must go. Not reduced, not managed, eliminated. Because strength demands space. Success demands clarity. Growth demands sacrifice. You can't carry dead weight and expect to fly. People underestimate the power of environment. You can have ambition, but if you're surrounded by lazy people, you will absorb their habits. You can have discipline, but if you're surrounded by distracted people, you'll be pulled into their chaos. You can have goals, but if you're surrounded by people with none, they'll make your goals feel unnecessary. And here's the fastest way to become stronger is to stop surrounding yourself with what makes you weaker. Your environment is not neutral. It is shaping you every second. Cutting what weakens you isn't about being cold or ruthless. It's about survival. It's about protecting the ambition inside you before life suffocates it. Weak people cling to everything, every friend, every comfort, every distraction, because they fear being alone with their own potential. Strong people cut what doesn't serve them because they are committed to their future more than their feelings. And that commitment is what separates the powerful from the forgotten. Your habits are another battlefield. The little things you do every day shape the big things you become. Staying up late, doing nothing, eating garbage, skipping training, avoiding work. These habits weaken your discipline and steal your momentum. And here's weakness rarely arrives in big moments. It builds quietly through small daily choices. If you want strength, you must destroy the habits that sabotage your potential, replace them with rituals that elevate you, replace chaos with structure, replace distraction with purpose, replace hesitation with execution. Cutting what weakens you also means confronting your inner limitations, the stories you tell yourself about who you are and what you can or cannot do. Your mind can be your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. Every negative belief, every fear, every insecurity is a chain, and chains do not break by themselves. You must break them intentionally. You must attack them with new behavior, new challenges, new experiences. Every time you confront a fear, you cut a piece of weakness. Every time you act despite doubt, you build a layer of strength. The process is uncomfortable because growth requires discomfort. The mind resists change. The ego hates being exposed. But here's comfort is the enemy of evolution. You can stay comfortable or you can become powerful, but you cannot be both. Cutting weakness means cutting comfort. It means becoming disciplined in a world addicted to ease. It means becoming focused in a world drowning in distraction. It means becoming hungry in a world satisfied with average. When you finally remove everything that weakens you, the wrong people, the wrong habits, the wrong mindset, something incredible happens. You feel lighter, sharper, stronger. Your goals become clearer. Your discipline becomes easier. Your confidence becomes real. You stop fighting against yourself and start fighting for your future. And that is when strength becomes your identity, not just your intention. Power is earned through consistency, not moments. And once you absorb this truth, you stop chasing quick wins and start building a life that cannot collapse. Most people want success to be explosive. A sudden breakthrough, a lucky moment, a viral opportunity. They want the glory without the grind, the results without the repetition, the respect without the routine. But here's greatness is never built in one moment. Greatness is built in thousands of silent, unseen, disciplined days where you choose progress over excuses every single time. Consistency is the force that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary transformation. People often think powerful individuals are uniquely gifted, but the real secret is much simpler. They show up. They show up on good days, bad days, tired days, stressed days, bored days. They show up when no one claps, when no one notices, when nothing seems to be changing. And here's consistency is loyalty to your future self. Every action, every choice, every small disciplined moment is a vote for the person you're becoming. When you treat consistency as a commitment instead of an option, you create momentum that weak people can't understand. The truth is, most people quit too early. They start strong and fade fast. They follow their emotions, not their goals. If motivation is high, they work. If motivation is low, they rest. But consistency doesn't care about your mood. Consistency doesn't wait for motivation. Consistency demands that you act because your future depends on it. And that's where real power comes from. The ability to keep moving even when everything inside you wants to stop. The ability to stay disciplined while the world slips into distraction. The ability to maintain focus when everyone else is busy complaining. Think of a small flame. Feed it every day, and it becomes a fire that can burn through any obstacle. Ignore it for too long, and it dies. Your potential works the same way. Consistency is the oxygen that keeps it alive. Every small step you take compounds into something far greater than the effort you put in. And here's the small daily actions are far more powerful than rare bursts of effort. 1 hour of discipline every day is worth more than 10 hours of hyper-motivation once a month. It's the accumulation that creates mastery. Consistency builds confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your identity. You become someone you can rely on, someone who doesn't break when life gets heavy, someone who doesn't talk big and act small. And that inner trust becomes a weapon in every challenge you face. When you know you can depend on your own effort, fear loses its control. Doubt loses its voice. The world loses its ability to shake you. And here's the confident people aren't born. They're built through consistent action, repeated until they become unstoppable. Even in failure, consistency is your anchor. Most people crumble when they fail because they've never built the habit of pushing through. But someone who's consistent doesn't collapse. They adjust, they learn, they adapt, they continue. Consistency removes the emotional chaos around failure and turns it into data. It becomes part of the process, not the end of the story. You become stronger, not because you never fall, but because you always rise with more wisdom than before. The greatest advantage consistency gives you is time, because time rewards the persistent. Time multiplies effort. Time amplifies habits. Time sharpens discipline. And you don't need to be the smartest, fastest, or most talented. You just need to be the one who didn't quit, the one who kept going, the one who repeated the right actions long enough to outlast everyone else. When you finally commit to consistency, your life becomes predictable in the best way. Progress becomes guaranteed. Growth becomes automatic. Success becomes a byproduct of your routine. You stop hoping for change and start ensuring it. You stop dreaming of power and start earning it. Day after day, action after action, decision after decision. And that is how consistency transforms you into someone unstoppable. Your transformation starts the moment you stop running from the struggle and start chasing it. The moment you stop accepting weakness and start demanding strength. So stand up, tighten your mindset, step into the arena, because your story, your rise from weakness to power is waiting. And the world doesn't respect the man you are. It respects the man you're about to become.